Hanayama may just defeat Jack Hanma. Chapter 46 of Baki Rahen recently released, and this chapter changed everything. At the beginning of this fight, it has up until now seemed as if Jack was going to absolutely dismantle Hanayama, as Jack had effortlessly taken Hanayama's punches head on, with Jack actually creating some wounds to Hanayama's knuckle before Jack had then uppercutted Hanayama, which had then led into a judo throw, which had then also led into Jack's infamous suplex, which alone gave me PTSD of Jack's fight with Pickle, where he suplexed Pickle over 8 times. This is where Jack had then began utilizing his grappling on Hanayama, with Jack securing Hanayama's left arm so that Jack could then bite into Hanayama's bicep area, but almost instantly Hanayama had grabbed Jack by his left cheek and fully escaped Jack's grip. Hanayama had ripped Jack's left cheek completely off of his face thanks to his grip strength, and Hanayama began absolutely clowning Jack, asking him if something was the matter and if he was willing to keep going. And Jack had tried to fight back, but Hanayama moved faster than quite possibly I have ever seen him move, and Hanayama landed a left-handed counterattack on Jack, which had knocked the breath out of Jack, which let alone is a feat of its own. And though Jack is far more durable than he has ever been, Hanayama still managed to bend a titanium tooth of Jack's with one of his punches, which just demonstrates these two monsters' capabilities. Hanayama was born naturally gifted with an absurd level of strength. I mean, after all, at the age of 15, Hanayama had completely wiped out a rival Yakuza clan that had murdered his father. It was as if this man was Itachi Uchiha himself, and Hanayama has some insane feats of strength, with one in particular already making its appearance in his fight with Jack. And that is Hanayama's vice grip. Hanayama can grab an opponent's body part and cause it to implode due to the pressure that Hanayama applies, which is due to Hanayama's grip strength and the restriction of blood flow. A concept that I have seen and previously mentioned is Hanayama possibly grabbing Jack Hanma's jaw and crushing it utilizing his vice grip. Though Jack has grown extremely durable, I doubt that he would be capable of enduring an attack like that directly onto his jaw, as well as Hanayama's vice grip being a perfect counter for Jack's wrestling and grappling. Though Jack has been able to take some punches from Hanayama, I believe we should not let that feat undermine the capability that Hanayama's punch holds, as this punch is the same one that managed to make the ogre Yujiro Hanma himself bleed from the nose, as well as this punch even drawing comparisons to having the force of a speeding dump truck. And though many were surprised at how fast Hanayama recently appeared to be, it is quite possible that he has always been this fast, and just rarely ever allowed his speed to shine, as Hanayama has fought a record-sized great white shark in the middle of the ocean, with Hanayama even seeming to outspeed the shark in its own habitat, which also makes it harder for a person to move due to the water, meaning Hanayama was not even close to reaching top speed before he would inevitably reach into the shark's head and crush its brain. And if Hanayama continues to counterattack rather than taking Jack's punches head on, then Hanayama's speed and durability could genuinely give him the win, as Hanayama is one of the most durable and strong fighters of Baki. Even the likes of Musashi Miyamoto was incapable of harming Hanayama's bones, and he had to settle for cutting Hanayama's stomach open. And this is both bad and good for Hanayama. When matched up against Jack on the good end, Jack will not be able to break Hanayama's bones, meaning Hanayama's knuckles can practically not be damaged, which gives Hanayama the privilege to throw punches at Jack while being practically carefree, as the most that Jack could do is bite through the muscles in Hanayama's hand, which in my opinion does not raise much of a concern. And it is important to remember Hanayama is the first human to be recognized as a rival rather than food by Pickle, as he was viewed as a triceratops. If used correctly, Hanayama could exploit Jack Hanma's weaknesses, which primarily consists of Jack's ignorance to Hanayama's strength, as he recently got a glimpse of what Hanayama is capable of, but he still has next to no idea of how strong Hanayama truly is. While on the other hand, Hanayama has to an extent researched Jack, as Hanayama discussed with his associates about Jack, as well as saying that he was not aware who Hanayama was before they had met during Jack's reunion with Pickle in the streets, as well as Jack also needing to do a lot of damage to face Hanayama, as though he for obvious reasons does not particularly enjoy being injured. I believe that Hanayama bathes in the fact that he is so hard to kill and injure, which will also be hard for Jack to do in general, as even while bleeding from every part of his body, Hanayama would still be willing to fight. And the same goes for Jack, honestly, as Hanayama has now fully devoted himself to every single fight that he takes place in, with Jack being willing to die if it means taking the victory over his opponent. though Jack's ability to endure damage is also far lower than Hanayama's. Though it does seem that Jack had tried to do this already, but without considering Hanayama's grip strength as well as his physical strength in general. This fight is the naturally strong against the artificially strong, with Hanayama being born with everything that Jack had dreamed about and used steroids to obtain, and Jack's suplex even seems almost ineffective against Hanayama, as Hanayama was not surprised or even concerned after being suplexed. He had simply gotten back up without being phased in the slightest. And when it comes to Hanayama's lack of care for dodging attacks, this could get Hanayama in trouble, as thus far, Jack had exploited this and gotten a suplex, judo throw, and hold onto Hanayama. But if Jack were to execute a far deadlier attack, such as if Jack were to go after a weak spot of Hanayama's, such as the body parts with the least amount of bone, such as Hanayama's neck or even potentially his stomach, which has almost gotten him killed before, though I'm not sure how Jack would get himself into a position to bite Hanayama's stomach, although it is possible that Jack could lead into a bite to Hanayama's stomach from a suplex, as though the suplex alone will not harm Hanayama. If combined with other attacks, the suplex can be critical for him, as this suplex seems to be Jack's new favorite attack, and I cannot imagine any of Jack's punches doing significant harm to Hanayama. I believe the only way that Hanayama will be harmed is if Jack bites into him. And I have also seen some people talking about how Jack could possibly catch Hanayama's punch with his teeth. This would be because of Jack's capability of dislocating his jaw at will like a snake. But this would probably not happen, as Jack would have to stand completely still and not move back at all. And when Yujiro Hanma had allowed himself to get hit, the reason that he had bled was because he had stood still while taking the punch, which gives no room for shock absorption, which in the case of Jack has allowed him to continue being uninjured after taking Hanayama's punches, because of him being knocked backwards with every attack. But if Jack were to somehow stand still while taking one of Hanayama's insanely strong punches, I'm not so sure that he would be able to take the damage of Hanayama's punch without any support. And if Jack were to stand still, I believe his jaw would either be shattered or his titanium teeth would be bent in a way that he could not fix. However, Jack is also pretty quick, and most likely could dodge some punches from Hanayama. But that is going to be all for today's video, and let me know in the comment section below, did you enjoy? And if you did enjoy today's video and like to support me, then you can leave a like and subscribe. It is completely free on your end and helps me out way more than you may think. And if you would like to interact with me, my community, show off your art, drop some memes, talk in general, or maybe even self-promote, then you can join the Discord that can be found in the description box below. And also make sure to turn on post notifications so that you can be notified the minute that I upload videos such as this one. And also, I just thanked you guys for 5,000 subscribers and we're about to hit 6. And that's just crazy to me. Thank you guys so much for your support on these recent videos. I enjoy making them and I'm glad you guys enjoy watching them. But that will be all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!